Good morning. The teaching is in the description. Please have with you when I'm going to read the teaching so you can follow together. Good morning, everyone. We will now begin the morning prayer service with the AMATSU-NORITO prayer, followed by the words of light and words of prayer. Please join us. Taka Amahara ni kamzumari masu. Kamurogi Kamuromi no Mikoto mochite Sume-mioya. Kamu Izanagi no Mikoto Tsukushi no Himuka no Tachihana no Odono Awagi Harai Misogi Harai. Tamou tokini nari maseru Haraido no kami tachi Moromoro no magagoto tsumi kegare Harai tamae kiyome tamae. Maosu koto no yoshi o amatsu kami konitsu kami ayo yorozu no kami tachi tomo ni ame no fuchi koma no mimi furitate te kikoshime seto kashikomi mo maosu. Yoku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Yoku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Meshiya no mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Meshiya no mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Kan-nagara tamachi haemase. Kan-nagara tamachi haemase. Words of light. God is light, and where there is light, peace, happiness, and joy abound. In darkness, conflict, poverty, and disease pervade. For those who seek light and prosperity, come to the light, and call on the name of Messiah. Then you'll be saved. Words of prayer. God, I acknowledge that you are alive. Within me, you are alive. I thank you for nurturing me to be newly born as your child. May this blessing be shared with all. In the name of Messiah, which is one with Meshu-sama, I surrender myself to you. Please use me as you wish. Let us bow our heads in reverence to the divine image of Meshu-sama. Reading of Meshu-sama's teaching. The birth of our religion. To start with, let us think of why our religion came to be. But for that, we first need to understand a few things. When we consider the mother culture that has been built up by humanity over the last several thousand years, it appears so advanced and developed, at least in outward form, that is seeming splendor simply dazzles us. Of course, people of today look at and are in awe of its brilliance. They are totally immersed in its wonder. But do you know what is peculiar? When we observe in detail, we find that is not what it seems. In fact, I say that is the opposite of how it appears. What I mean by that is how there has not been any progress when it comes to the spirituality of human beings. I sometimes think that the minds of ancient people must have been superior to those of the current people. If we measure the minds of humans now, I am ashamed to say this, but I have a feeling that evil outweighs good. And so, what humanity desires the most is happiness. Through every means possible, in utilizing their intelligence to the fullest, they have sought to attain it. The desire for happiness has turned into a dream of an utopia and a longing for an ideal world. For this purpose, humanity first relied on religion. But as the prospect for establishing an ideal world through religion grew dimmer, they searched for other options. They were, as you all know, education, morality, philosophy, that emerged from places like China and Europe since the medieval period. Amidst all these developments, material science came to the forefront in the 17th century in the West, and this brought about reformation in every aspect of human life. Above all, the advancement of a mechanized civilization soon led to the emergence of the Industrial Revolution, and alas, the whole world finally succumbed to the power and charm of science. Humanity came to believe that there was no need for things like a religion or morality anymore, as they seem indirect and time consuming ways to attain happiness. What they need, they thought, was empirical scientific culture, something visible, tangible, and real. They believed that this was the best candidate for improving human happiness and creating an ideal world. I cannot blame them for it. What can we conclude then? I say that now we are in the middle of a great global scale transition, a belief we always hold to. Right now, we are living in a moment when a new culture is replacing the old one. Has humanity ever experienced this kind of extraordinary change in its entire history? It is truly unprecedented. But what is this new culture that is supposed to be taking over the old one? Let me just say that it is absolutely impossible to get even the smallest glimpse of it through human intelligence. But what exactly is it? Who on earth is entrusted with the task of creating this new culture? When we consider these questions, we, at long last, regardless of whether we believe in it or not, have to acknowledge the existence of an entity known to us as God. Accordingly, now I'm going to explain what God is, and it is not as simple as possible as people might assume. In Shinto, they claim that there are 8 million gods, and it is true indeed. Each one of the gods belong to the one of the 3 different classes, upper, middle, or lower, and is assigned a whole from a myriad of choices. Until today, we only know either the monotheistic Christian God or the polytheistic Shinto gods, but their explanations are only one-sided. The truth is this: the one and only God creates and imparts his very own spirit into many gods. So there is one God and many gods, both at the same time. What should be noted here is that when a theory is slightly ahead of its time is proposed, it receives praise and admiration for intellectuals. This is because a theory of that grade is most easily accepted by those who have gone through the education of the established culture. Most Nobel laureates belong to this category. However, it, for some reason, a theory that is completely advanced and far off from the standard of its time is put forward, it is utterly impossible for people to comprehend it, and thus they see it as a heresy, attack it, and try to eliminate it. Look what happened to pioneers such as Jesus Christ, Socrates, Copernicus, Galileo, and Luther in Europe. The degree of suffering they endured is a testament to what I'm saying here. But everyone, consider my theory. I tell you that is much more far off than those of the pioneers I just mentioned. It is at least 1 or 2 centuries ahead of the contemporary time. For people who hear my theory for the first time, or who are totally immersed and satisfied with the current established culture, it stuns them. They do not give even the slightest thought to it and cast it away as an absurd notion very quickly. But consider this: if my theory is simply absurd or bizarre, would our activity advance further and further, steady, fast, and unshaken, even while being subject to so much slander, condemnation, and attack, not to mention oppression from authorities? There must be something to our belief. Otherwise, this would not make sense, would it? I cannot tell you how many times we have survived difficult ordeals and narrowly escaped from the hands of our foes. Despite all of this, our project of constructing a paradise is moving forward more than we could imagine. One must admit that this is simply inexplicable through human reasoning, and so The basic requirement we are proposing in order to be a part of creating an earthly paradise. The motto of our religion is for each individual to be elevated and attain the right to become a resident of heaven. If these kinds of individuals increase, a paradise on earth must appear one day, as the world is made up of individuals. Sekai Meshi Akio Haya Wakari. A quick guide to the World Church of Messiah, November 20, 1950. Jorei. Good morning, everyone. I hope you, your family, and friends are safe and sound. It's very important as we hear today's teachings, to understand where humanity is going and is going through. We all know, we followers of Meishu Sama, we always read Meishu Sama's teachings. And always was hard to believe that what Meishu Sama was saying, we would ever face. Many things, that is another teaching Meishu Sama says, is a virus come and spreads all over. People be scared. But that's one thing that is very important. As Meishu Sama says in this teaching, I know it's a long teaching, so I put in the description, I put in the chat, so you can just click it. It goes to the website for your own study. It's a teaching that, not just reading one time for sure, you're reading over and over and over to grasp, really grasp what Meishu Sama is saying. But here, in the beginning, he's talking about how humanity tries to control happiness. Someone is even saying Asian people even might be happier and smarter than we are now. Why? Because we don't think, we don't believe what we have within. We always searching from the outside, and we forget what is already inside all of us. I sincerely believe that Meishu Sama talks here about God. In the end, first, second, and third paragraph, we consider these questions. The questions like, what kind of culture needs to be changed? We consider many things. And then Meishu Sama says, have to acknowledge the existence of an entity known to us as God. Entity called God. How do we understand God? Meishu Sama says here, there's one God and many gods. Who are you? Who am I? We are a particle of the whole God, which we are also a smaller God. And all together, we become God. And in the end of the teaching here today, Meishu Sama is very clear. The basic requirement we are proposing in order to be part of creating an earthly paradise, the motto of our religion is for each individual to be elevated and attain the right to become a resident of heaven. If these kinds of individuals increase, a paradise on earth must appear one day, as the world is made up of individuals. I know many people are scared, are home, but I believe far worse than this virus itself is how many depression we see in people, how many mental problems people become. And that's where we come. That's why we know these teachings. That's why we follow Kyosho Sama. Because he's teaching us how we can help people, even though we are far away from them. I'm telling you, what scares more, I'm not saying that I'm scared, but what scares more people is knowing that they might not have food, they might not have a lot of things. So mental issues already increasing. Hope is nowhere. But we, as followers of Meishu Sama, we have a great mission, surrendering everything back to God through the name of Messiah. May God and Meishu Sama continue to bless all of you. I see here there are people from Scotland, Doris, which she's from Kansas City, place from Walt Disney came. So all of you, I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow. I don't see you, but you see me tomorrow morning again. May God and Mrs. Sama continue to bless all of you. Thank you so much. And let's continue with our mission, surrendering, returning everything we see, we hear, we feel back into God's hands through the name of Messiah, which is one with Mrs. Sama. Thank you very much.